everyone. Welcome to the Cynthia Linox Show. I am your host, Cynthia Linox, here again to remind you that this is the best season of your life. It is the best season of your life because of your journey of self discovery. You are on your way to discover who you are, where you're going, what you're all about, what your purpose is, and to become your true, authentic self. When you become your true authentic self, it's like taking on a whole new identity because we've been so influenced by society, by external factors, external things, around us, that we adapt, we conform, we take on the norm, tradition, conventional norms, and things like that. And you really don't spend time thinking about what you are all about. So now is the time. And with that, you're discovering who you are and also accepting every area of your life, all your experiences, everything that pertains to you, the your successes, your failures, all of it. Because once you accept it, no one can use it against you. If you have had experiences with, whether it's substance or some kind of abuse, whatever it is, once you own it, no one can use it against you. And you can navigate through life confidently, with confidence, and being assertive and completely unbothered by what people think or say about you. And that's how you come into this place where you can be expressive. Self-expression, that's part of your identity. This whole thing about self-discovery, again, it's taking on a brand new identity. And you can change things, you can modify. You must become who you want to be. You must become the person that you want to be. The person that you admire is like, oh, I want to be this way. Of course, you don't want to compare yourself or compete with someone else. No, because you've got your own selective, unique qualities and attributes and characteristics about you that are so admirable, that are magnificent. You don't need to take on the identity of someone else. And that's the whole thing. This whole journey, for me, it starts with respect. Once you start honoring yourself and commanding that honor toward you, it will help you elevate your thinking. You will start upgrading your thinking and updating your software in your mind about yourself, your perception, your perspective about yourself. And I'm not talking arrogance or anything like that. No. I'm not talking about pride or arrogance. I'm talking about you seeing yourself with such honor, you having the perception of yourself as an honorable person, regardless of what walk of life you're in. It doesn't matter. You as an individual, you as a person, you will start commanding the respect of others. I I even expect God to respect me. Whatever suits you, whether it's God or source, creator, supreme being, the universe, whatever suits you, whatever you address, you use. I expect God to respect me. Why would you not? And if you expect God to respect you, then certainly everyone else. But you've got to approach life and see yourself with those lens to honor and appreciate and esteem yourself so high. Why would you not expect God to respect you? Do you not think you're worthy? It'll kick up your whole idea about self worth and the value of you. Why would you? Do you not think that the universe or God, again, creator, supreme being, source to respect you. So when you meditate or think and get with yourself and your thoughts for things to happen, why would you not expect that? You ought to expect it. Absolutely. That God respects you. And when you get that into your consciousness and walk with that command and expectation, then certainly your experiences here on earth, is where we are, your experiences here, you should expect the same. It will be much better. I I've shared this before, but I was in a taxi cab, and it was a meter taxi cab, and I was sitting in the back behind the passenger seat, and he's driving, and the meter is evidently reclined back on the front passenger seat. I didn't see it, and I didn't hear any tick 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 whatever. So I said to the driver, I said, sir, I know this is a metered car, but I don't see the, where's the meter? And he said, what do you mean, where's the meter? It's over here. Can't you see it? It's over here. And I said, oh, I said, I'm on opposite it, so I didn't see it. And I sat there for a few minutes, few seconds really, and I felt disrespected. I felt dishonored. My whole being just felt so awful. So I said, sir, I am not sure what makes you think that you can speak to me that way. And I made a point. And he said, oh, I am, he was bruised. He said, I am so sorry. I am sorry. I am so sorry. And he just continued to apologize profusely. I didn't say a word. My point is this: if I expect God to respect me, then certainly I will not tolerate disrespect from anyone else. And with that, you start seeing yourself and honoring yourself highly because of your expectations when it has to do with respect. And that, what happens there? It helps your relationships. Your friends know, you have boundaries, you have, they know you. They know you. And it's not something that you have to have a big old sign, oh, you must respect me. No, your presence commands it. Why? Because you are also honoring people with the same respect. It comes natural. But you have to kick it up a notch. You have to understand your value, your worth, the magnificent creator that you are, how selective you are, how distinguished you are, how unique you are. Once you understand that about you, about the self, you embrace all of your experiences, and you walk with a confidence that will self-express. When you show up a certain way, totally uniquely you, in your identity. You don't believe any of the lies that tradition and society have imposed upon you. Society says, let's say, for instance, your appearance when it comes to beauty. Tradition says, and society, social construct says that, if you're not thin or skinny, you can't be beautiful, or you're not really viewed as beautiful. They call you plus size or full size, and they have those clothes over here and the other one over there and so forth. So sometimes you grow up with this kind of mentality that you don't quite fit in because you're not thin enough, you're not skinny enough, you're not slim enough, you're not the right complexion, you don't have the right melanin. and you start really you put yourself in a place to where you're dishonoring yourself. Why? Because of social construct. That's what society has told us. That's what society has, constructed, and we buy into it. We believe it. Tells us we're not good enough because you didn't finish school, you're not good enough, you're not smart enough. Well, ask that to Zuckerberg that started Facebook before he finished college. So you see, you can't continue with the construct that society has used to shape your identity. Why, my friend? Because it's not yours. It is not your identity. You are creating, you are discovering who you are. And when it comes to your purpose, you don't have to go find your purpose. Your purpose is not lost. Your purpose is within. Your purpose is on the inside of you. It's innate. You were born with it. You came with it. You may not have discovered it yet, but you came with it. When I was a little girl, 6, 7, 8, I remember I've always wanted to be a teacher. Not like a school teacher or elementary school, kindergarten. No, no, no. I wanted to be someone that would influence the lives of others in a positive way, obviously. And I I just used to have these visions of myself in front of thousands of people, and just encouraging and motivating them. And as I have grown, in my uh, evolution, I recognize that the attribute of being positive and optimistic, that has always been in me, even in the worst situations that I have been in. And I have been in some situations with, that you can say like, oh, how do you navigate through that? But it's life. There's always a solution. There's always a solution. I've learned not to react to life, but to respond to life. And sometimes, it's been situations where, you feel, your ego is bruised. Situations where you're embarrassed. You can't make ends meet, or you made a decision that didn't turn out the right way, and things like that. And they're just life situations. But I've always remained positive and optimistic. And as now that I have, come into myself, this journey of self discovery, I realized that which I so desired to teach, that's the only way I could describe it when I was 6, 7, 8. Teach. I see that I have the opportunity to encourage, to motivate, to inspire, to lead, to guide, to help people become the best version of themselves. And you know what? When I talk about the purpose of life is pleasure, it is pleasure. How do I know that? Because doing this, which is what I'm doing now, or even in my coaching business, I get so much pleasure, especially when you see somebody's life transform from ordinary to extraordinary. It is fascinating. It gives me so much pleasure. So, again, when I say that the purpose of life is pleasure, it is pleasure. Because when you're doing what you want to do, if you want to take care of patients in a hospital as a doctor, you're going to find that so fulfilling. If you want to build cars, if you want to put out fires, if you want to be in law enforcement, whatever it is, if you want to be a pilot, whatever it is, and you see the little kids uh, playing with their firefighter truck when they're little, and you ask them and they say, I want to be a firefighter, I want to be a I want to be a police officer. We come with it. Your purpose is within you. And all that, you will discover all of that as you are treading along, being intentional and being mindful, being consciously aware of the thoughts, your feelings, your desires. You will become so aware of that. You become so aware of what they are and start really paying attention. And in your moments of meditation, you will start really trying to figure things out. But after a while, you will see that once you admit, acknowledge, and recognize the truth about you, you will see how you start commanding things into your life, commanding right relationships. You just need to identify them, commanding connections, commanding opportunities, commanding prosperity into your life. You will start commanding, and as people show up, they will show up with the respect that your whole being commands. That's how it happens. That's how it happens. But it takes you acknowledging and recognizing your power, who you are, who you are. You decide that, you determine that. And once you determine that you are an honorable person, because you've got to know that for yourself. Once you know that, you just show up differently. You move a certain way, totally different, a way and a style that is uniquely you. You don't try to compete, you don't try to compare, and that puts you in a position where you can applaud others' success. Why? Because that's not what you want. That's not what you're after. You have your own gig going. You've got your own thing going. You don't have to compete with anyone at all. You don't have to compete. You cannot grow if you don't know. You cannot evolve. That's why it's so important to remain curious with an open mind, to remain curious, to ask questions, to want to find out what's going on. What's going on? The highest thing for me, as I shared earlier, is respect. And I expect God, creator, supreme being, the universe, source, I expect respect. How is that possible? Again, it's how I see myself. It comes right back to you and the things you acknowledge. There are certain things, that's why I've shared. I don't believe stuff. You've got to know it. Comes a point where you simply know stuff. And sometimes you cannot even articulate it because it's such a it is such a personal experience that you just have to allow others to go and have their own experiences. But it will what you know will work for you. Why? Because again, it's your truth. And once you recognize and know that you have the respect of the universe into your life, it takes away fear. You won't be afraid of anything. Why should you be? Why should you be afraid of anything if you know you've got the respect? Again, you have to know, my friend, that you are an honorable person. And it doesn't matter what your expression is. If you are a person that is bodacious or brass or whatever, it doesn't matter. You are still honorable. You could have tattoos all over your body. You are still honorable. Nose ring, earring, eye ring, whatever ring, you are still an honorable person. And you should not allow disrespect. You may have done things in your life that society shuns. It's behind you. Acknowledge it, recognize it, and move on. Own it so nobody can bring it up. And if they bring it up, my friend, even if someone wants to bring up your past and say, remember when you did this, or remember when you did that, or remember when, to be unbothered is to be unfazed by what people think or say. That's a good place to get to. When you're totally unbothered, and when you hear things, don't submit yourself to drama. No drama in your life. No. No. Select the sweetness, select you know, the fine things of life. Embrace the fineness of life, whatever that means to you. I used to have a little thing before, and the way I think, because my dad was always he was just uh he was elegant. He liked to dress up, and he would, take my mom to the cabaret, and they would dress up and look nice and go out to the cabaret at night and so forth, and all the couple. And he would like the fine things of life. He would like nice things, and I'm that way. And I had to come to terms. That's just the way you are, unapologetically. But I used to, feel some kind of way, like, like, no, that's too much and whatever. And then I just said no. Again, in my journey of self discovery, I realized that is who I am, and I must be that way unapologetically. And when I made that decision, it's like when I do things, when I, I always expect the best based on my criteria. The best I do. And so should you, my friend. Whatever that means to you. Don't play small. That gets you nowhere. Why? People play small, number one, because they don't know who they are. You lack the confidence and you're not assertive, but that's not you. In your journey of self discovery, that is how you are growing into a confident, bodacious person, whether you're a man or a woman. If you're a man, then you're more confident. You approach a situation with confidence, knowing that you can resolve whatever situation, and having the vulnerability. If all of that is part of that. To be vulnerable, that is part of being confident, being vulnerable. There's nothing wrong with that. It doesn't make you any lesser than a person. If I don't know something, I'm going to go look it up, or I'm going to ask someone, or ask someone to explain to. You have to be vulnerable. There's nothing wrong with that. Doesn't make you any less than anyone else. Why? Because you know who you are. You are shaping your identity. You're becoming the person you want to become. You are becoming the person you want to become, and you are shedding all that stuff, all those lies that you are wretched, or you are, like in religion, you're a sinner and you're wretched and you're good for nothing. And I hear people say something like, God, without you, I am nothing. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Do you know how that affects your psychic? Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Again, I'm not religious, but If you say you're made in the image and likeness of God, why would you say without you I am nothing? How do you see your God? How do you see your God? How do you see yourself? How do you see your God relating to you? Why would you say without you I am nothing? That's not even a true statement. It could be, written, but that's not a true statement. Because you see a lot of millionaires and billionaires that, have nothing to do with spirituality, and they're doing well. Not just with their material wealth, but as philanthropists and just navigating through the world. Again, we're not. This is not a religious program, so I don't want to get into that. But I'm just sharing with you little things like those. Once we start thinking about it, and you say it's like a couple that's married, and you would refer to your spouse as my better half. And I know you could say it's a figure of speech, but when it comes to that in my journey, I like to make things clear. I don't have a better half. Better half? No. First of all, I want a whole person, 100%, not 50%. They say, oh, yeah, we're 50-50. No, I want 100%. Everything you got. I want everything. And I'm prepared to give everything. I show up whole, complete, in my totality. I'm a whole person. You've got all of me when it comes to, my emotions, my feelings, and so forth. And then we blend, we complement each other. But you're not my better, and certainly not my better half. My better half. So what? If you say he's my better half, then which half are you? He's your better half, so you are his worst half? No, it just doesn't. You want the whole. Interestingly, in my journey, my lexicon, my vocabulary, the words that are used are so measured, are so intentional, that there are certain things I simply will not say. Somebody wrote to me the other day and said something about, because I said we were gonna go out to dinner at this place and whatever, and they said something about keep it within the family budget or something like that. And when I saw it, I knew what they meant, and I chuckled, but I had to write back and say, I don't use the word budget. I hate that word. When people say budget, you budget this, you budget that, because to me it is so limiting and it doesn't work for me. It may work for you, there's nothing wrong with the word, but it doesn't work for me. And I said, I allocate monies for this, for that, and so forth. And that's what I do. I allocate monies for, this is the monies that are allocated for vacation. It's not budgeted, it's allocated. That works for me. Maybe synonymous to one another, it doesn't matter. Do what works for you. And I wrote back and I said, and we chuckled because he said that. But for me, it wasn't, I wrote back, and then, he called and we had a laugh because of that word. I don't use that word budget. So when I am making and planning my stuff, my finances or investment, whatever, there are monies that are allocated to this, that, and the other. My husband, when we first, and I've always kind of been like that. He calls me, well, not anymore, but he used to call me the word police, because I've always measured, I've always really been intentional when it comes to that. And when somebody says things, I process it because I take you at your word. I take you at your word. Words to me are important, and they should be to you. But that's just my thing. You will discover things that work for you in your journey, and whatever applies to you, that's what you should enforce. Because again, you're shaping your identity. You are shaping your identity. You're creating the person you want to be, and you are dissing all the preconceived thoughts and the words that's been spoken to you, and the things that people have said, and the social norms, and the traditional construct, and the conventional, status quo. You are getting rid of all of that. And in some cases, I know kids that they reach 18, 19, 20 years old, and they want to leave. They want to leave the house because, you know, because of all the expectations, the family traditions, and all the indoctrination and things that they want out. And sometimes they don't even realize why they want to leave, but they want to leave because they're stifled. There's something on the inside that's churning, that's bubbling up, and wants to come out. And that's what happens. The more you know, the more you grow. And as you learn things, you want to expand. You become curious. Your mind starts opening. Now, if you remain in the same environment, that's who you become. That's who you will be. You will be what they have shaped you to be. And you will become that until you'll never discover your potential, because we all have. And in most cases, your purpose is your potential trying to get out. It's coming toward you. It's coming toward you. And that's why that feeling of unrest, you want more, because we are created to grow, to evolve, to progress, to get more. That's why, they say the rich get richer. Yeah, because when they reach a certain status, their minds are so creative, and you go into to something else, and you start creating, and you become innovative. We all of us, we want more, and that is okay. That's okay. Even if somebody say, "Oh yeah, they're too ambitious or they're too greedy," it doesn't matter. Again, remember, you are completely unbothered by that. Why? Because you know who you are. You know who you are and what moves you. And you are not moved by the opinions of others. Their opinion is not your business. Their opinion is not your business. You are moved by the knowledge and the understanding of who you are, how you see yourself, how you perceive yourself. And even if you, like right now, you may be challenged and you can't really move out into that space of being who you are. Start with what you have. See yourself the way you want to be before you get there. You have to see yourself that way and start acting that way, because to become is not positionally. It doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter your location. What matters is your mindset, is what is set in your mind, the ideas that are set in your mind, your perspective, your perception, how you see yourself, and the honor, the regard that you ascribe to yourself. It's not arrogance and it's not pride. It's knowing who you are. It's giving honor to yourself. Comes a point where you have to self reflect. You have to self reflect. Start making better choices. Start being more selective. Why continue Why continue on the same path? If you don't like certain things about your life, excuse me, the way you were brought up, the things you were taught, the indoctrination you have had, why continue to talk about it? Talk about the things that you want. Talk about the things that where you want to go, the life that you want to live, the people you want to meet, the environment you want to be in, the things you want to achieve, the places you want to travel to, the things you want to accomplish, the relationship you want to have. Talk about those things and sit with people that are like-minded, people that are positive, people that are visionary, people that have hope and expectations. They know where they're going and they know how to get there. It's up to you, my friend. It's up to you. But what I want you to go away with today is the honor you give yourself. And it starts with thinking like this: I expect God to respect me. And when you start thinking like that, I'm telling you, just imagine, you are you expect God to respect you. Why would you be afraid when you hear all the stuff that's out there? You wouldn't be afraid. You would not be afraid because whatever it is, it will not come near you. It won't affect you. You have to think that way. But in order to think that way, you have to have a reason. Why would it not? You've got to think that way and start honoring yourself with with a new perspective, a new vision, the way you see yourself. And again, it doesn't matter what you have done in the past. It does not matter. It's where you are now and where you want to go. You have it within you. You have the tools. You have the ability. You have the skills to create a new identity or to step in to the identity to who you were back then, before you had all this external influence and indoctrination, before you had all these things coming at you, telling you, you're not good enough, you don't have the right complexion, you're not slim enough, or you're not pretty enough, and all those things. These are lies we tell ourselves every day. And unless you become aware that they are lies, and it all depends on how you see yourself, unless you become consciously aware and acknowledge, no, wait a minute, no, 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 no. That's not true of me. If you want to believe that, then that's fine. But as of me, that is not the truth. Think of yourself as a good person, pleasant, beautiful, smart, intelligent, helpful, lovable, all those adjectives. You just name them and know how magnificent you are, and that you have the ability to put things together, to dream, and to create goals and achieve them. And if you have setbacks, that you have what it takes to handle it. I always say I'll figure things out. Figure it out. Figure it out. Don't, you may have we all subject to situations, low moments, but you can snap right out of it. You can snap out of it. We all have it. I've got thoughts that come into my mind that I have to address right away because I know that they're not my thoughts. Comes a point, my friend, comes a point where you just have to stand up. You have to stand your ground for who you are and take yourself back. Take yourself back. Who you are. That innocent, precious little person that had no cares in the world. You have to start taking yourself back. But at the same time, you have to recognize the things that do not apply to your life. And if they don't apply, then you need to get rid of them. You need to get rid of them, ditch them, get rid of them. And you go through this transition unapologetically. Don't be apologizing or saying I'm sorry or excuse me. No, you can't. Why? You're discovering who you are. If you lose, a diamond or something, you're gonna go searching. You're gonna go looking for it. You're gonna do whatever it is. The little, we saw on the news. Yeah, it was on this morning. This little girl, I think she's autistic, and she strayed from her house, and they had the infrared lights in the woods looking for her, looking all over, and they found her like waist deep in muddy waters. They did whatever it took to find that little girl. That was a good ending. She was like 3 years old. Oh gosh, 2 or 3 years old. Imagine that. And that little girl, that little boy that was within you many years ago, and it's been taken by stuff, just information that's been programmed into your mind, into your psychic, into your thoughts, into your brain. Comes a point now that you've got to wash it. When we talk about you've been brainwashed, we need another brainwash. I went through another wash my brain, got rid of all the stinking thinking, all the stuff, all those thoughts and things that didn't serve me. And then you come into your bliss. Why? Because now you know what you like, what you don't like, where you like to go, the people you like to be with, and the things you accept, the boundaries you set, the limitations you set, the things you embrace, the things the things that makes you happy, makes you smile. Those things about you, but at the same time, you have the courage to live them, to enjoy them unapologetically. You can't be wishy-washy, and you can't sit at the sideline. It's you. It's you. Honor you. Honor you. Honor your own identity as you create, as you discover the treasure that you are, my friend. As you discover the treasure that you are, you must begin to honor it. And as you flow in that mindset, you will recognize, you will see, you will know that all just the thoughts, sometimes, and there's just so many things that I could, that I could share. Things just come. It's like your thought process command things to come. It's like the universe says, okay, this is what She expect, why would the universe, why would God not want to give you the things you desire besides your purpose, the things that make you happy and brings you pleasure? You've got to believe that you deserve it. Why not? Why not? You deserve it. You deserve it. But if you don't believe it, if you think if you think that's presumptuous, then that won't work for you. It only works if you believe and know, more so, know that you deserve it. When you start flowing with that attitude, with that knowing, that's when it starts happening. And you've got to be unapologetic about it. Don't apologize. Don't make excuses. If you like a certain lifestyle, just do what you want to do. That's why, when I see, people, living a certain kind of way, that's none of my business. That is not my business. It's none of my business. Works for them. I've got my own thing going. That's my business. And that's where I put my focus and my attention to, on the things that pertains to me. And people that may not agree with me or agree with my lifestyle, or I was sharing with Bonnie yesterday when we met, and I was we were talking, and we were, she's well traveled, and we have traveled quite a bit. I have traveled to many places, and so we were sharing, like, and she was saying, like, and this in Istanbul, this happened, and she's going to Tulum, and we are going here, and we were just talking, and it was just such an exchange, and it wasn't bragging, no, and we were saying, she said to me, "Oh my gosh, I am so happy that I can share this with you, because I cannot share these experiences with the same level of enthusiasm with other people, because they don't understand, and they can't get, they in most cases they don't get happy for you." And I said the same to her. I said, yes, because people say, yeah, it must be nice. Well, yeah, it is nice. And we were sharing that, and I don't know how it's broken down, but I get excited for me. I get excited for me, and the things that I experience, the things that I go through, the experiences I have, the opportunities I have, I get excited. And the more excited I get, it seems like the more opportunities come my way. The more, because again, that is my self expression. And some people may see me as, I don't know, arrogant, braggadocious. Again, completely unbothered, because I know me. Now, if you tell me that you're going to, I mean, I don't know, Japan, Egypt, Dubai, whatever, I'll be happy for you. Of course. What an experience. What an experience. I'll be so happy for you. I'll be saying, oh, yes, and go there and do this and do that. Why? Because you're living your best life. It may be your dream, it may be your bucket list, even though I don't believe in bucket lists. But whatever it is, if you are having an experience, whether it's a new job, a new business, a new opportunity, a new relationship, you will always hear a positive word from me. Maybe a word of caution if I see fit, but it will always be positive. You know why? Because you are encouraged to trust yourself, to trust your intuition, your instinct, your intuition, to trust yourself and know that you are well able to navigate through life uh, with confidence and assertiveness. Confidence and assertiveness. Always expecting the best, because that's another thing also. If you don't expect the best of whatever it is for you, then because your subconscious mind doesn't discriminate. Whatever thought you register in that space, that's what your subconscious mind is going to work with. People talk a lot about attracting this and attracting that and attracting this and that. You already, no, manifesting this and manifest. You have already manifested a whole bunch of stuff. The way you are right now, you have manifested that. Your life right now is a manifestation of your thoughts. And unless you expect something different, it will be the same. And that's why sometimes things appears, like things are not changing because you're manifesting the same thing. Sometimes you keep talking about the same thing over and over and things you don't want. The way you were, the experiences you had, the way you used to believe and all those things, you just keep just talking it over and over. Why? Why? If you have left that era of your life, why continue to feed it? I mean, if somebody asked me about, past experiences, I would share. But to be harping on it all the time, especially if there are experiences that are not serving you now. Now in this time of you're discovering, your potential and the greatness that resides on the inside of you. Now that you are seeing who you are for who you are, the real you, made the real you stand up. Now that you are seeing that, why would you harp on the past? Just keep harping and harping and harping and just talking about it and talking about it. Yeah, you may think you're helping someone else, but you have to check with numero uno. You have to check with number one. You have to do what is good for number one and let people see the difference, the before and after. Because if you keep harping on the past stuff and your life hasn't changed, what kind of a example is that? No, you've left that, but your life hasn't really changed so that we can see the difference. We can see the difference and be encouraged by that, be inspired by that. It's just what you have said. But no, people want to see. Let's see how you're living now. You've left that path. What are you doing now? How is life treating you now? And how are you responding to it? What are the things are you manifesting? What are the things are you attracting? What commands are coming your way? Again, your life, once you discover your true identity, will start commanding things toward you, starting with respect, you know, and the universe will respect you enough to know that we're going to do this and we're going to give her this. Not, well, not give her because you are one with it, but you'll start commanding and expecting to see it, to manifest, to come into your presence so that you can enjoy the good things in life now. Not tomorrow, but now. Now. And with that, my friend, I get so excited when I come and share these nuggets with you because I know that it motivates you, that it encourages you, and that it inspires you. And what's happening is you're going through a transformation, whether you acknowledge it or not. Well, when I say acknowledge it, I mean publicly. But because once you hear something, you cannot unhear it. It will stay with you and you'll start thinking. And that whole segment I had about God respecting you, you will never forget that because people don't think like that. It came to me. It came to me. Why would I not expect God to respect me? I honor myself. I honor myself highly. Hold myself in high esteem unapologetically. I don't apologize for it. It's the truth. You hold yourself in high esteem. Absolutely. And with that, my friend, I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to leave you with that because when you start thinking in those terms, you will see fear will leave you. You will not be afraid of, the things you hear. You see it all over. I see it on social media. People are just afraid. People are talking about things happening in end times and all of that stuff. You don't have to be afraid. You don't have to be afraid at all. You don't have to be afraid of anything. You just live your life and enjoy your life and take pleasure in the things that you do. And once you discover your purpose, you will see how it arrives with such gusto and pleasure and in a way that you can just really enjoy it. We have a date every Thursday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. And if you can't meet me here on a Thursday, see those icons in the bottom? It's Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, all of that. You can check it out over there. And if you need to get in touch with me, my email is this. I've always said go to my website, but my email is simple info, at thecynthialinoxshow.com. That's how you can get a hold of me. I'm also a life coach. If you would like to chat with me about life coach situations, sometimes we need that person to walk alongside us to remind us. And that's where we start investing in ourselves. And a lot of people, you have to think in those terms as well. You invest in yourself. Invest in yourself. Why? Because you're worth it. And don't ever say, I don't have the money, because that will always be that. I don't have the money. I don't have the money. No, I'll work it out. I'll figure it out. Whatever I want to do, I I get the money. If you set in your mind that you want to do certain things, you will get the resources to do it. You just have to make a decision first. So whatever it is, whether it's with me or with someone else, invest in yourself. If you need someone to walk alongside you and to, to help you and encourage you and motivate you and guide you and things that I've been trained as a coach, things that I know that you may not know, but that's up to you. I have a coach. I do. So again, invest in yourself wherever, with whomever, as long as there is connection. If it resonates with you, if that person, if there's the right chemistry between you and that person, the right energy, then invest in yourself. Why? Because you are worth it. If you're spinning your wheels and you see no change happening, if things life is not turning out the way you expect it to, invest in yourself. I do it all the time. I spend a lot of money. To learn stuff, to sharpen my skills, to do this, that, the other. I invest in myself. Why? Because I am worth it. I am worth it. I am the best investment I can make. We're setting up something right now for me to meet with someone to talk about some business situation. why I am worth it. And so are you. And with that, I'm going to say au revoir, ta ta. See you next week. Have a fantastic weekend and be good to yourself and embrace the new person that you are, your new identity, the identity that you are discovering and the identity that you are creating. And with that, hasta luego, amigos. Au revoir. Ciao. Bye bye. Hasta luego. And we'll see you next week, same time. Same place. Ciao. Bye bye. Salute.